I am sure you will appreciate that this is really a very preliminary estimate, and it's being done more via uh, surveys at this point in time than in-depth damage assessment. Um, but the good news is that the Corozal and the Toledo district fared fairly well with very little damage. The northern Toledo district had some impact, but not as severe. The truly bad news is that everything in between suffered losses. Three major impact, the areas most impacted are, as Prime Minister mentioned, bananas, corn, and vegetable production. In the banana industry, we expect, or the initial assessment is that in the South Stand Creek, approximately 75% losses. In the Cowpen area, 60 to 70% losses. And the Bladen and Swayze area at just below 60% losses. These losses can be categorized in two general production cycles. That is, those for harvest through the remainder of this year and those for harvest next year. The losses are roughly about 50-50 in the two production cycles. The real issue that needs to be addressed beyond the fruit loss is a very critical one, and that is to determine whether we have sufficient volume to maintain regular exports. This will need very careful study and discussion between the farmers and the marketers. This is a very substantial point because it means that even those that are still producing a perfectly good product may not be able to export. But let's see how that goes. It requires much more careful study and discussion with the marketer and the producers. Corn has been severely impacted, especially in the central region. Spanish Lookout alone reporting losses of 75,000 tons, or approximately $42 million in losses. In Indian Creek, losses for corn are another $7.5 million. Little Belize reports moderate impact, and we still have other major growers to survey. As you know, corn is also a small farmer staple, and we expect that wherever damage occurs and corn is present, the losses are also severe. Vegetable production, which is an important income earner for many small farmers, have also been severely impacted. The minister's area, the Mascal, Bomba, Nagobank producers lost almost everything. Similarly, in the Springfield and Armenia, the damage is almost total. We still have Valley of Peace and other vegetable communities in the Kaya and Orange Walk districts to survey. An important program promoting covered structure for vegetable production has been severely impacted, with virtually all structures being compromised or completely destroyed. The infrastructure losses to small farmers will amount to well over $2 million, and that's only the infrastructure. We're not talking about the value of the product. The fisheries sector, we are estimating roughly $500,000 in losses to assets, but this does not include the losses from production stock. And you are aware that we're in the middle of the lobster season, which is our highest price commodity. The poultry sector, loss to barns and a few birds. That does not seem too severe at this point in time, but we need closer assessment. Sugar, Santander reports some flooding of fields and some minor damage to infrastructure. The northern sugar industry is reporting approximately 7,000 acres of standover cane with wind damage and potential water damage based on how long the water remains. That's the very broad impact at this point in time. Of course, as the Prime Minister mentioned, we have another wave that we have to wait for, which is flooding, because in many cases that will determine whether what might be salvageable right now indeed is salvageable or it's also counted as loss.